Yeah, Brooke, as of this point, the indication we had was from U.S. Senator Amy Klobuchar tweeting about charges for the three officers. I can now tell you that based on our review of court records that have just posted, all three officers that were seen on that video have now been charged. We're talking about J. Alexander Kuhn, Thomas Lane, and Tu Tao, court records indicate, have been charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. Now, based also on those court documents, we see that the fourth officer, who had previously been charged with third-degree murder, we're talking about Derek Chauvin, court records indicate that his charge has now been elevated to second-degree murder. So we can confirm that according to court records here from the state of Minnesota, all four officers, Brooke, that were involved in this incident involving the death of George Floyd have been charged by authorities.
The United States took a violent turn. Trump has called for the use of the U.S. military to put an end to the violence. But his own defense secretary doesn't seem to agree with the president. In an extraordinary break with Trump, U.S. Defense Secretary Mark Esper said that he does not support the president's move to invoke the Insurrection Act. Now, the Act of 1807 would allow Trump to deploy active duty forces to suppress any sort of civil unrest or rebellion.
The option to use active duty forces in a law enforcement role should only be used as a matter of last resort and only in the most urgent and dire of situations. We are not in one of those situations now. I do not support invoking the Insurrection Act.
Grocery store owner in Philadelphia says he will rebuild after his store was completely destroyed by looters. For 15 hours, he waited for police.
Oh my God!
A shopper cannot believe what she sees when she enters her local supermarket to buy groceries for her family.
This is sad. This is sad.
For 15 hours straight, looters have laid waste to the store. Some of them are still inside.
This is the problem.
This surveillance video shows the first moments of the break-in. And this was the scene at the ShopRite today. A heavy National Guard present.
Returning now to the situation in Libya, where we are getting reports that the internationally recognized government is saying that it's taken complete control of the capital, Tripoli.
Well, we're here now at the old international inactive airport that has been, remember this airport was under control of Haftar's forces for the past year. Now it is fully under control of the government of National Accords forces. After heavy fighting with the forces loyal to the warlord Khalifa Haftar. Also, military sources with the government say that the government forces have been also advancing in other neighborhoods near the airport, including Qasr bin Khshair area, and also areas near Tarhouna city, the major stronghold for Haftar's forces in the west of the country.
For the inquiry and the investigation team, this is a significant development. A German male of that description linked to the two vehicles that I'd like to make
Some developments in relations between South and North Korea today. Kim Jong-un's sister, Kim Yo-jong, who is believed to be Pyongyang's second in command, has demanded that South Korea stop people from using balloons to send leaflets over the border denouncing the regime. According to the North's state-run media, she said that if the leaflet campaigns don't stop, then Pyongyang will scrap its military agreement with Seoul. She also said that the North is prepared to tear down the industrial complex at Kaesong, which the two sides used to run together, and the liaison office they have. In response, South Korea's unification ministry said it's already been looking at introducing legislation that would stop the campaigns. They do need to stop, it said, because they threaten the safety of people who live near the border. But experts say laws protecting free speech will make it difficult for the government to ban leaflet campaigns outright.
I want to return to this story. 8 people, I was telling you, including senior police officers, arrested in a pre-dawn sting in Pretoria today, facing a range of charges. Those would include fraud, corruption, theft and money laundering. More details now from Brigadier Vish Naidu, who speaks for the SAPS. Brigadier, good afternoon to you. I hope on a slightly clearer line. My understanding is that the 8 people arrested have all been involved in what is termed an elaborate scheme to defraud the state. What further details can you give us?
Actually, there were 16 people arrested in total, 9 of which are police officers, 1 former or retired lieutenant general, and the other 6 are businessmen and women, directors and owners of companies as well as employees. They are arrested on allegations of tender fraud and tender corruption. This was as a result of investigations which started in 2017 already.
A long road lies ahead, but this group of at least 100 people are willing to take the risk, from countries across Africa, from Cuba and Haiti, mothers and fathers amongst them, wanting a better life in the United States. A few months ago, they entered Honduras from the southern border with Nicaragua. Then in March, the pandemic stopped them in their tracks. And on Tuesday, so did the police. Another obstacle, taking a mental and physical toll on some. These migrants were among some 260 people given shelter after Honduras closed its borders with neighboring El Salvador and Guatemala to try and contain the virus.